I mean, we saw how adept, while the so-called caliphate seemed to exist, how adept this organisation was at communication, particularly through social media. Could this be part of that spin?
Well, absolutely. I think, well, a couple of things there. First of all, nobody who joined ISIS believes that they were a terrorist. They believe they were part of God's gang, if you like. They believe everybody else is a terrorist. So, and secondly, I think by the very fact that he said he didn't oppress anybody. He was part of the military police there. He was actually oppressing people by the moment he joined them and put on the uniform. But the point you made is very interesting. ISIS were very... they handled the media very, very well in terms of getting their messages out. They spun their messages very, very well. And I think one of the lessons that we need to learn is that by knowing that they spin media and are able to spin media very well, we need to examine whether they're spinning now, whether this person is part of that spinning back to get back into the country.
Well, I can hear a lot of agreement there. We used the Sky Data poll to ask if the public thinks there are or are not any circumstances in which Britons who travel to join Islamic State should be allowed to return to the UK without being prosecuted. Here are the results. Are not came in at 70%, are at 21%, don't know 9%. Well, let me go to you, Chip, on that, because I asked, you know, when it came to one individual, the individual we've been discussing, where the discussion should take place. According to our poll, basically people think they shouldn't be allowed back in the first place.
Well, I'd accept that that's what they'd say, because, of course, with the terrorist attacks we've had in the UK this year, the dread hazard of terrorism is very high at the moment. And, of course, it's the fear of terrorism which really upsets people and makes them reticent about these chaps coming back. Now, of course, you can't make them stateless, so they've got to go somewhere, and you can only prosecute at the national level, not internationally. So they could be prosecuted in Turkey or wherever they end up. But I think we have to realise that those who are the religious zealots are probably not going to come back. They're either going to die in place or go to a new theatre of jihad. So it's the middle branch who will probably have to deal with, and even more so than that, the real difficult issue of potentially 50 children out there from British mothers.
And how do we deal with that then? Is there a humanitarian side to this? Are the British public being too harsh?
No, I mean, I can fully understand the figures, 70% saying that he shouldn't be allowed back. If we do allow them back, and I think there are a number of things before we have to allow them back. First of all, the crimes they've committed have been committed in Iraq, and therefore the Iraqi government should have first chance of prosecuting them if they want to, or Turkey or other places. But if we do have to allow some of them back because we can't make them stateless, then we have to prosecute.